Let's please take a moment for poor Hans Niemann, who just got absolutely spanked by Fabiano Caruana, the world number 2. He's absolutely goated right now, in the form of his life at the US Chess Championships. This is round 7. Poor Hans Niemann doesn't know the storm that he is walking into. He plays his favourite Italian stallion, and these are some of the more common responses for black. But Fabi plays pawn to d6, a move suggested to him by his longtime second at dinner the night before. That's Grigory Aparin for the win. We now see this pawn c3 in response, and although Fabi's opening was looking passive, bang! Look at his point. I mean, that is absolutely epic. It's up there with a wild Hikaru appearing at the tournament yesterday, and we had these outrageous scenes. Hans Niemann, Hikaru Nakamura exchanging words IRL. That's in real life for those who aren't quite down with the internet language. Just learnt it myself last week. It almost looks like it's AI generated, but it's not. The full clip is on Hans Niemann's channel. Go check it out. How to respond to this? Well, Niemann calmly carries on with pawn d3. And now after queen f6, your spidey senses have got to be tingling, right? What does he want here? What you don't do is castles. Oh my goodness. Walking straight into pawn f4, allowing Fabi to set up that overpowered connect 4. He goes and wins himself a bell ringing lesson with Genie. What an incredible prize. And the big problem you've got is that black is looking to just storm the barricades, and fighting back not easy. And look at this. Niemann now spends 35 minutes on his next move, and it's pawn b4, setting up the bathtub here. I mean, what can we really say about this long think after castles?
It was at this moment that he knew.
So Fabi carries on with the development. a4, it's the Hummer of bathtubs. Looks impressive, but this is so much faster. The audience love it. They're baying for blood. b5 from Niemann. The knight stumbles back. He gets his central counterplay going, but this is so much scarier. Knight dropping back. So many players are going to be looking at this line now for black. I mean, how incredible is this? An h5. Fabi even bangs his chest like a caveman at this style. We love it at this moment, sorry. Now the knight develops over here, and we get this knight galloping back into the game. You could argue slightly more precise moves, but this isn't bad. Heading into g5, and now I really love this next move from Hans. Great chess understanding. Pawn b6 looks absolutely impossible, but the point is, well, we'll see. Because if black had taken, not played, we're in the back cave here, then you've cleared the b5 square. This is the point. You now threaten a monster fork. How to deal with it? Well, you'd have to sidestep. But now look at the central problems here. Once the king steps onto the line, then you got to take with the queen. Then you're running into this, hitting queen, hitting pawn twice. You're just in a world of pain. Not the way you want to be going. So we didn't see takes in either direction, or with either pawn I should say. We saw pawn to c ships, a real favourite of Fabi. He visualises this one regularly on weekends. This bishop drops back, clearing room for the knight. Excellent play, knight g5, and it's at this moment that Niemann goes seriously wrong. I mean, castles was risky, but now he's in the pain. Now why? When you get absolutely trashed after this moment, you've got to say, what should white have done? Other than castling into the storm? Well, it starts with this. I did some clicking around so that you don't have to. Rook takes, knight into c4. You did have to be taking because this was coming soon anyway. And the point is, knight g6 is now important to open up some double defense on d6. Because otherwise the knight and queen are converging on that square after takes. And now when knight b6 comes, loose piece, develops, takes, you can then go pawn d5. Much clicking I did, and this is basically the best line for both players. Strange way I said that, sounding like Master Yoda. Been watching those films with my 7-year-old, and I'm really confused actually by the way, as to why Obi-Wan lets Darth Vader kill him in that first one. I don't really get it. I forgot, why is he actually doing that? So if anyone can help me out, that'd be great. Anyway, then you attack a rook here, and this is the kind of thing. As you can see visually, there's real play. This is a roughly level position. So you had to go for this sort of stuff. But knight d3 played. And it's so bad because you blocked the queen's convergence on d6 and you remove a critical defender of the king in many lines. So now knight g6. Again, you should take. You have to create that play. But knight c4, and now black can shut down that play. There's no issues on d6. The queen is blocked. Fabi doesn't actually do it. Gives a glimmer of hope. But Hans doesn't take the bite at the apple, develops the bishop now, but takes, deals with the problem, opens stuff up here, bishop recaptures, f3. I mean, when one of the best moves is jumping back with the knight, you've messed up. g3, and now of course black has options in the center. That's a hanging pawn. This is a hanging pawn here. But why would you start opening up counterplay? h4. Eyes on the prize, Fabiano, queen c2 just ain't going to get the job done. Looking to defend laterally, but sometimes the threat is worse than the execution. Fabi knows this, and he calmly takes a timeout with pawn takes on b6. Love that move, and the point will be revealed, because after this absolute stinker, no clue where that rook's going or what it's doing. Yes, defending a pawn, yes, lined up with the king, but you're asking black to be very obliging. Fabi now finds one of the greatest rook up and over wild rovers I've seen in a while. Rook to d8 is the move, and this is why he took first. And watch that one. Pawn d5, rook d7, takes, bishop c1, trying to get rid of a defender, and rook d to h7. And Fabi visualized this back there. There's a couple of chess concepts. Number one, improve your worst piece, which was probably this rook in this position, though the bishop's not great. Number two, visualize. Where would we love that rook? Fabi says, okay, let's get it there. And now you're in the pain, because you go for this counterplay, but takes, and what to do? Take like this, mated. Take like this, then you're still getting mated. Just to show the actual checkmate here, it's on the g2 square. If you try and cover that somehow, like start checking and invade, looks a bit scary, but the king simply runs and you've got nothing. There are no more checks other than stupid ones. And then again, you get mated. And how do you fight against it? If you try and block, well, you get mated down here. You can't fight this kind of pawn structure. This kind of crash through. So this was the game. Niemann didn't even touch it. We now get queen h4, 19 points of pressure barreling down. And we're not going to see a repeat of the Wesley So game where he escaped and Fabi had plus 10 but didn't checkmate. It was crazy. Here we see resigns, because Hans could check, but the king just runs to a dark square, check, but bishop blocking, finally entering the game. Always love when a bishop never enters the game and then comes with some decisive effect very late on. And what to do? You can start doing stupid stuff, but you're just getting mated. There is nothing. That's a 28 move spanking. Ouch, but fair enough. Fabi is incredible right now. The prep, the execution, he is a machine. Hope you enjoyed, and have a look at the video on screen in case you missed the absolutely incredible checkmate that Hans Niemann landed earlier in this tournament. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon. Cheers.